In the heart of that humble village, Eli Turner is known by everyone for his gentle smile and helpful nature. Though his clothes are old and patched, his spirit shines brighter than anyone else's. Every morning, he walks through the misty fields to fetch water, humming softly to himself, while his grandmother, Agnes, waits by the window with a warm cup of tea. Their bond is tender and unbreakable, two souls surviving on love, hope, and stories whispered through time. At night, Eli listens to Agnes talk about miracles and the power of doing good, her voice trembling yet full of faith. He dreams of one day giving her a better life, free from struggle and pain. The world around them is quiet, almost frozen in its simplicity. But fate has already begun to turn its gears, waiting for the moment when Eli's heart and time itself will be tested. Eli's days follow a gentle rhythm, woven with simplicity and love. He wakes before dawn, the air still misty and cool, and carefully lights the fire so his grandmother can stay warm. The smell of burning wood fills their tiny wooden home as the first rays of sunlight spill through the cracks in the walls. He then heads outside to feed the chickens and fetch water from the well, always humming a tune his grandmother used to sing when he was little. Life isn't easy, but Eli finds comfort in its quiet routine. In the village, everyone knows Eli, the boy who always helps without being asked. When Mrs. Callan's fence breaks, he mends it. When the baker's son falls ill, he delivers bread for free. He asks for nothing in return, except a smile. His grandmother, Agnes, often watches from the window, her frail hands folded in gratitude. She tells him, "Kindness, Eli, is the only treasure that grows the more you give it." Evenings are their favorite time. They sit close to the fireplace, the old clock ticking softly in the background, marking every second of their peaceful life. Agnes tells him stories about time travelers, forgotten memories, and the power of choices. Eli listens with shining eyes, believing every word. Sometimes, he wonders if time itself can feel love or sorrow like people do. The days pass in warmth and quiet laughter. The village glows in golden sunsets, and Eli feels safe in the world he knows. But fate, silent and unseen, has already set a path in motion. On one stormy night, thunder cracks across the sky, and the wind howls through the valley. Eli rushes to bolt the door, unaware that a mysterious visitor is about to step out of the rain and change his life forever. Rain lashes against the windows like 1,000 tiny fists, and thunder shakes the ground beneath the old wooden house. The fire flickers weakly as Eli stares into the darkness, hearing something beyond the storm, a faint voice calling out. At first, he thinks it's just the wind, but then it comes again, desperate and trembling. "Help, please," his heart races. Without thinking, Eli grabs his lantern, pulls on his boots, and runs into the rain. Outside, the road is a blur of mud and shadows. He follows the sound until he spots an old man collapsed by a tree, drenched and trembling violently. "Sir, please hold on." Eli shouts, struggling to lift him. With all his strength, he drags the man back to the house. His grandmother gasps when she sees them but quickly helps wrap the stranger in blankets. Steam rises from the pot as Eli pours him hot tea, holding the cup to his lips. When the man finally opens his eyes, Eli freezes. The stranger's gaze is piercing, like it can see through time itself. His voice is soft but heavy, echoing with something ancient. "You have a good heart, boy," he murmurs. "Tonight, you did not just save a man. You saved time." Eli doesn't understand, but something about those words sends chills down his spine. As the storm quiets, the old man stands, now strangely strong despite his frail appearance. From his coat, he pulls out a silver pocket watch, small, ornate, its surface engraved with symbols Eli doesn't recognize. The man presses it into Eli's palm. "This watch," he whispers, "can turn back time, 5 minutes only. But remember this, each use costs you a precious memory. Time gives, but it also takes." Before Eli can ask more, the man steps out into the night, vanishing into the mist as if swallowed by the storm itself. The next morning, sunlight pierces through the clouds. Eli almost convinces himself it was just a strange dream, until the watch gleams faintly in his hand. Later that day, as he helps his grandmother down the stairs, she slips. Panic strikes, and without thinking, Eli turns the watch's hands backward. The world seems to ripple. The teapot refills, The sound of her gasp rewinds, and suddenly, she's standing safely at the top of the stairs again. Eli stands frozen, heart pounding. His grandmother smiles, unaware anything happened. But Eli frowns. Something feels wrong. The warmth of a memory fades. He can't recall the story they were laughing about just moments ago. In that silence, the ticking of the silver watch grows louder. The first price has been paid. Days turn into weeks, and the silver watch never leaves Eli's pocket. Each tick of its hands feels like a heartbeat, a promise that he can fix everything, no matter the cost. When a boy from the village slips into the rushing river, Eli doesn't think twice. He turns the hands back, and the boy is safe. When lightning strikes the old barn near the fields, Eli rewinds time again, saving the frightened animals before the flames appear. Every act feels heroic, but afterward, the emptiness grows. At first, it's small things. He forgets the color of his neighbor's door, or the name of the baker's wife. Then, larger pieces begin to fade. The faces of friends blur in his mind. The laughter that once echoed through the village becomes just a faint hum he can't place. Yet the villagers adore him. They call him the miracle boy, bringing him food, gifts, and gratitude. But Eli doesn't understand why. He smiles politely, pretending to remember. His grandmother, Agnes, watches him with worried eyes. She knows the truth even before he tells her. Each time he saves someone, his gaze becomes a little emptier, his voice a little quieter. One night, as rain taps softly on the window, she reaches for his hand. "Eli," she whispers, "you have a kind heart. But kindness should never cost you yourself. Time always asks for something in return." He nods, tears filling his eyes, though her words feel distant, like a melody he's heard before but can't place. He hugs her tightly, desperate to hold on to something real. The warmth of her embrace feels like home, yet he barely remembers why it matters so deeply. Then, one morning, he wakes to silence. The fire has gone out. His grandmother lies still, her breathing gone, her hand cold in his. Panic surges through him. "No, please," he whispers. The watch in his pocket feels heavy, heavier than ever before. He knows what it will cost, but he can't bear to lose her. With trembling hands, Eli turns the silver watch one last time. The ticking slows, the room bends, and light folds backward. Time reverses. Her chest rises again, breath returns, life flickers back into her eyes. She smiles softly, whispering his name. But Eli doesn't react. His eyes are blank, his tears gone. He stares at her, confused, like she's a stranger who wandered into his home. "Who are you?" he asks faintly. The silver watch in his hand lets out one final tick, and then it stops forever. Days turn into quiet weeks, and Eli drifts through the village like a ghost of his former self. He moves with calm eyes but an empty mind. Faces smile at him, voices call his name, yet none of it feels familiar. Children wave as he passes, and an old woman hands him an apple with tears in her eyes. He thanks her softly, though he has no idea who she is. Inside, there's a gentle ache, not of sadness, but of something missing he can't describe. At night, he sits by the window, watching the moonlight touch the forest beyond. In his pocket, the silver watch lies still, its hands frozen forever at midnight. The ticking that once filled his world has vanished. When he touches it, a faint warmth pulses through his fingers, a memory he can't reach, like a dream fading at dawn. He doesn't remember why he kept it, only that it once meant everything. One afternoon, as the wind rustles the trees, the old man returns, the same man Eli saved on that stormy night long ago. His eyes hold the calm of centuries. "You've forgotten much," he says gently, "but not the part that matters." Eli looks at him, confusion flickering. "You gave away your memories, boy," the man continues, "but you never lost your heart." The words linger in the air like a melody. For the first time, Eli feels something lift inside him. Not pain, not regret, but peace. He realizes that kindness was never about what he remembered, but what he chose to give. The old man smiles faintly. "The watch took your past," he says, "but left you the soul of who you are." Eli closes his eyes and breathes deeply. The world feels lighter, gentler. He may not remember names or faces, but his heart still knows how to care, and that is enough. Eli wakes before sunrise each morning, the air cool and gentle against his face. The fog rolls over the hills, and the village slowly comes to life. Roosters crowing, smoke curling from chimneys, laughter echoing from children at play. Eli moves among them quietly, carrying buckets of water, mending fences, sweeping porches. No one asks him why he helps, and he never gives a reason. He simply does. To the villagers, he's become something of a guardian spirit, the boy with no past but a heart full of light. When a farmer's cart breaks, Eli is there before being asked. When a child scrapes her knee, he wraps it gently and smiles. The people whisper that perhaps he's been touched by angels, though he himself feels nothing supernatural, only the quiet urge to bring peace wherever he goes. His grandmother, still alive but frail, watches from the window of their small wooden house. She doesn't tell him who she is anymore, he wouldn't understand. Yet she smiles every time he brings her soup, every time he sits by her side without knowing why. To Eli, she's simply the kind old woman, yet in her eyes, he's still the little boy she raised. Love, it seems, has found a way to live even without memory. One morning, as dawn paints the sky in soft gold, Eli hears a sound he hasn't heard in months. Tick, tick, tick. The clock on the wall, long silent, begins to move again. He stares at it, feeling something stir deep inside. Each tick matches the rhythm of his heart, or maybe hers. The sound fills the small house with life, not a reminder of time lost, but of time continuing. He closes his eyes and whispers to himself, maybe this is what forever feels like. Outside, the old man watches from the edge of the road, leaning on his cane. The wind catches his words as he murmurs, time forgets names, but it never forgets kindness. Then he fades into the mist, leaving only the echo of his voice. Eli stands in the doorway, the morning light wrapping around him. He doesn't remember his story, but he lives its message, that even when the past fades, love and goodness endure. The boy who lost time has finally found eternity within his heart. Years pass, and Eli becomes a young man, tall, gentle, and calm as the morning light. His hair has grown darker, his eyes softer, carrying both peace and mystery. The villagers still whisper about the boy who once changed fate itself, though Eli doesn't know their stories. To him, life is simply about doing what feels right, fixing, helping, listening. The silver pocket watch now rests on a small wooden shelf in his home. Its hands remain frozen, yet a faint light glows from within whenever Eli performs an act of kindness. It never ticks, but somehow it breathes with him, a reminder not of what he's lost, but of what he's become. He often visits the old well at the center of the village, where children gather around to listen to his stories. They laugh when he jokes and grow quiet when he speaks of the world's small wonders: rain, sunlight, and the sound of a ticking clock. To them, he's not just Eli. He's a friend, a teacher, a quiet miracle. One day, a little girl tugs his sleeve and asks, "Why do you help everyone, even when no one sees?" Eli looks at her with that same gentle smile and replies, "Because it feels right, and maybe that's enough." As he walks away, the faint glow of the watch reflects in his eyes, merging with the warmth of the sun. Then, the narrator's voice fades in, calm and thoughtful. Time may take your memories, but not your heart. True goodness doesn't need to be remembered, it only needs to be lived. The final scene lingers on the silent watch, pulsing softly with light, the heartbeat of kindness itself. Would you give up a memory to save someone you love? Share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more emotional English listening stories.